Welcome back to
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Welcome back to D2 Wrenchworks and DIY guys. Today's video I have a 1995 Novara Team SL behind me here. Probably one of my best hidden bike gems to date. Honestly, it's pretty rare too, so it's also not quite a Novara. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know, thanks to the homies down at Super Clean, we've pitched in together. We're going to be doing a 1100 subscriber video giveaway. So they're going to have a whole big goodie bag box actually. You see our user APJ, he won the last one for 500 subscriber giveaway. We're at 925 right now, so I'll be looking to send that package out here soon. The next video I do, you'll see, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. I'll have a giveaway video explaining what I'll do. I'll just pick a comment in that specific giveaway video. So keep your eyes out for that. Enter the little contest with a funny comment or whatever I do in the video. And you can win a good box of goodies. So on to our Novara here though. Top of the line in 1995 at REI. They sold, as I mentioned, a bunch of outdoor stuff, bikes being one of the biggest things. They still do to this day. They sold this as a Novara, but it is not actually a Novara. This is actually a 1995 Parkpre 825 Pro. This is what they sold that as, and Koji Yamakoshi, the owner of Parkpre, who is also legendary in the bike scene, giant in U.S. history, cycling-wise, in my mind, the lead developer at Diamondback as well as Centron. Two great, like, mid-level, probably one of the biggest Japanese bikes coming into the U.S. One of the biggest reasons road cycling started to pick up a lot, if you ask me. That's my personal 2 cents. He had a huge impact on the U.S. cycling, though. So, onto this cool bike here. Probably, as I mentioned, one of the best they had. We'll start at the frame here. This is because it has a True Temper Ultimate super light frame set. That's a mouthful here. You can always identify these bikes. Actually, as you can see the stickers, it did say Team SL right here, and it said Novara down the side. 1994s, the decals were blue, and it just said Team. They didn't specify super light. And the SL is for the super light tubing. You could always find the badge right here, right by the front derailleur underneath the seat tube water bottle bosses here. Very cool looking little badge here, and some incredible craftsmanship to this frame. This is something that Koji actually becomes well known for with Parkpre, known to be some of the highest quality stuff. This is the second best they sold. They also sold like a 900 series something, maybe 9.5. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what it was. All I know is this one isn't that. They did sell this ironically with titanium plating. It's probably a little hard to see, but there is like a hue to the steel frame here, and it's not clear coat. What it is actually nickel plating. Pretty cool, but definitely not titanium plating. It does have some extraordinary good looking welds for some of the old stuff you see back in the day. And again, that's because this frame has some very high end steel. They actually, as I said, because they advertised it as titanium plated, they magazine tested this against titanium. Like Marin had a titanium bike out and a few others that were actually titanium tube sets. And they said that they couldn't even tell the difference. They loved this bike. It had great rave reviews. Very sought after bike. It's kind of, as I said, they're kind of hard to find. And the frames alone, I just saw one sell for $500 on eBay in 1994 with the blue logos. So just a frame and a headset and a bottom bracket. So it goes to show you that the steel in this is comparable to stuff they sell today, because it still brings very good money. And like I said, it's pretty comparable to titanium. The welds are great. They have also done a bunch of stuff to increase strength and rigidity. The tubing is double butted on all the way around. So we have top tube, down tube, seat tube, and seat and chain stays in the back are all double butted, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I get excited just to see a whole matching group set and nothing cheaped out there. But to see every single piece of tubing I mean, the craftsmanship, it just starts there. And that's a really good hint of a very nice bike. Another thing I did want to point out, they did ovalize, you could see in the pictures I got here, the chain stays, the seat tube, and the down tube are all ovalized into the bottom bracket union here, where it's all welded together. That also increases strength and rigidity on the frame. So, I mean, overall, you have an incredibly nice frame. It only comes out to, with it being an 18-inch or large, it only comes out to being a 4-pound, 4-ounce frame set, or just frame as well, just the frame. That's very light for a mountain bike. That gives you a great start, especially because you could really go all the way like the person did who owns this bike before me. You can see this is totally tricked out. We have some pretty crazy looking wheels. The fork is not original. So, you know, this really, it's peak example of what cycling history was back in the day, and not a bad way. This is actually, so if you went to REI and you got the Novara, it was $1,600. If you went to Parkpre and you got theirs, it was like $1,700 or $1,800, somewhere around there. I'm getting different prices online when I was looking this stuff up. Obviously, I wasn't around back then. But we'll keep moving on to some of my other favorite bits and stuff. As we covered, this is an awesome frame. You have to follow that up with an awesome group set. The shifters, the rear, front and rear derailleurs, and the crank set are all Shimano XT. So this is a 8x3 speed group set. Honestly, this is some of my favorite, and the brakes are as well. I don't know if I said brakes, but one of my favorite group sets. They're a little spendy because they're pretty rare nowadays, but if you could find something with it, I might actually keep these shifters. Only bummer about the shifters is the little windows here. This one is completely gone. You might be able to see, you could probably see that pretty easily. So I guess somebody must have fallen and grabbed the window, because it's actually the screw holes that hold it down are cracked. But I don't know, they're really nice, but they're also very lightweight. They have great shifting. They'll live forever, really. Good, solid units. For the rest of the cockpit here, since I'm here, I might as well do that. We just have some, this is actually what they did with the Novara stuff, the big difference. Just some like generic Zoom handlebars. I'm going to guess this is also a Zoom stem, and these are in fact Zoom bar ends, which are pretty old school, give you all these different handlebar positions here. And I don't know, I guess a lot of people like them for long XC cross-country type riding, but it's kind of been phased out now. So that covers our cockpit. Whoever had this before me put in a very nice Chris King headset. Obviously those, some of the lightest, best stuff out there. Very high-end bearings, very high-end headset, period. Even used, I think they're 150 new, and you could easily get $100 for a used one. So pretty spendy, pretty trick. It's a good way to flex some bling bling parts on your bike, that's for sure. Everybody loves Chris Kings. Let's get on to my favorite part. Everybody's favorite part. Honestly, they're not really mine, but they are cool to look at. These are some Spinergy Rev X wheels, actually made and originated in Connecticut. I was surprised to see somewhere on these wheels there's a little sticker that says that. Wilton, Connecticut. Very cool. I'm guessing they're probably sold to somebody, some big company nowadays overseas. But these were very popular. They have this crazy blade design you see on all the spokes. They're paired up side by side, and then they're riveted to the actual, very small rivets here. They're riveted to the actual carbon and molded on all together. I guess the rivets are for strength. All I know is these were known to fail catastrophically. That's all I really, on road bikes I knew they were doing that, and I'm not really sure how much they changed with this riveted on design. Apparently there's a slight difference, but this one, I mean, the brake track does have wear. Obviously it's an older one, but this one has probably like 2 or 3 millimeters of movement to the right, like every quarter rotation. So it's pretty far out of true. When something is that far out of true, something happened to the wheel, and I don't know. I'm a heavier rider. I wouldn't mess with it, but it looks dope. They're much lighter, obviously, and I wonder how it would ride in crosswind, I have to admit. And another thing too, you always want to look out on these wheels. There's a chunk out of one of these as well, right here. I don't know how easy that is to see, but yeah, you always want to inspect carbon wheels when you buy them, especially old vintage carbon. So unfortunately, these will probably just end up being something I don't know, maybe I'll do a project with them one day. I'll probably carry them around until I get time to do something with them. But there are some very cool old school pieces of bike history, you know. Everybody really loves the Spinergy RevX wheels, like the Fixie kids and all them all the time get weird wheels like these. So pretty cool to see. This is my first time seeing them in person, and it is what it is, I guess. It's cool, but not for me. They must keep the weight down fairly good, though, because the fairings, I mean, you could literally tell you're knocking on, I don't know how far up the aluminum goes here, but you could tell there's some good, there's a whole lot of carbon, a good amount of carbon on these wheels. And the weight, by the way, on this, even with this heavy seat post, the weight only came out to being like 27 and something pounds. I'm going to guess usually it's probably like 25, 26 without the bar ends and all this other stuff. But I'm pretty sure that's what Parkpre sold theirs at. Who knows? But honestly, for where it's set up right now, 27 pounds is not bad at all. That's actually pretty good. Like I said, though, if you were to actually upgrade this and strip it down and make it a more modern build, you could probably get closer to 23, 24 pounds. I would guess so. These are some pretty cheap tires as well. CST Rockhawks. They are nice and wide, and they're actually brand new, but these cheaper tires are very, very heavy. So moving along onto the rest of the group set, though. What we have here is a nice Shimano XT crank set. This is pretty common for the 8-speed stuff. Nice triple, easy to remove everything and service it. We also have a very nice Shimano XT front derailleur, and the crank is mated to a bottom bracket that is also a Shimano XT unit, and those are actually very nice. I'm actually going to be parting this out, so it'll be fun to get this off. I like seeing the bottom brackets after they've sat. I mean, it's almost been 30 years, you know, so to think this has been sitting in there for 30 years to see what it looks like, it's going to look great too, but it's always kind of fun to pull out the vintage stuff, and it's like opening a time capsule, you know. So on to the rest of the parts, though. My favorite things to find for a nice mountain bike build. One of my first videos I ever did, it's not my best work, that's for sure. Nobody's ever is. But I put these brakes on a old Schwinn full suspension mountain bike, like a early 90s I did, very similar to this. And it made so much of a difference. Back then, this is like 2015, you could actually find these brakes on a budget. I think I got them for 50 bucks. They are Shimano XT brakes as well, as I mentioned earlier. They have these very nice like camber arms that are pushed out and give you incredible, like very good braking power. Honestly, these would be very cool to use on some sort of long-term, if you wanted to do mountain bike racing and do 25, 50 miles. Like, man, these are some great brakes for long-term riding if you're a serious rider, because the modulation you get from it and the stopping power, it's crazy. It's technology that's this old, that's for sure. Because I mean, I know disc brakes are always the hottest, newest thing out now, and especially getting the hydraulic fluid assist, you get a lot easier stopping with more power. But there's no muss, there's no fuss, there's no getting brake fluid onto rotors and contaminated brake pads and all that crap. With this, set it and forget it. You don't even actually have to mess with anything once you put in new pads. They actually have pads that you can take there's a little clip in here, and you just slide the pad out and put a new one right back in. And usually you have to do minimal adjustments. Nothing like it is with some of the disc brake stuff. And like I said, great power. I mean, they're worth it. They might be up to like 75, 80 bucks now, but they are some very, very good brakes. And like I said, they're getting hard to find now too. Now, onto the rear end of the bike here. We have a Shimano XT rear derailleur. This actually is another one. This is only the second one. My Kona video I just did last. You should check that out as well. Very cool hardtail. Back-to-back mountain bike videos here. The only other bike I've seen with both of these dust covers on. Very cool to see that. Somebody upgraded this as well. This is a 9-speed Mega 9 unit, but obviously it's compatible on 7, 8, 9, 10-speed Shimano. So works great on this. Definitely one of my favorite pieces to keep in the parts bin, because I always like to use this on like cyclocross builds and stuff too. Works good with Shimano road stuff. We have an 11 32 tooth cassette. Pairs great with this really small range crank set we have here. Probably gives you incredible climbing. Yeah, you have a 22 tooth on the inside, so 32, 22, that's really good. Actually, my Kona is set up in the last video, same thing. As I mentioned, this has a strange little boingy seat post. It's a suspension seat post. I forgot what they called them. This is actually made by RockShox. Kind of strange. I can't imagine how heavy this is. Some people really insist on this. I don't know. You have a really nice hardtail. The metal does the work for you, absorbing the rough stuff. The fork will do the rest. This is really just causing pedal bob and making you lose any real power. I would not use this, but some of the older people like it. So, hey, it's for whoever likes them. It's just kind of cool to see a vintage piece like that. And another thing I wanted to point out, the craftsmanship, not just like the welding and the cool tubing and all of this, but just even the seat post clamp on this is very, very nice. And there's also another way to identify these frames if the true temper sticker isn't there. On the left side of the frame, the non-drive side, you're going to see a brake mount on there, and it's very cool looking, very unique, as well as the seat post clamp. That is like Parkpre signs right away, as are the long, clean dropouts here in the rear. That's a dead giveaway that this is a Parkpre frame. Lastly, what we have here is a RockShox SID Hydra Air Fork. This is actually a very nice unit. I want to say they probably came out around 2005 or so. This is obviously part of the big upgrades. With everything else, this bike has gotten a lot of upgrades, as you know, and we just went through them all, but it had a smaller one to begin with. This is 100 millimeter. Doesn't look very used at all. I'm not sure how much air it holds. I know, oh look, you even have a little rebound adjustment there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know how much dampening and rebound knobs actually work on something like this, but it is a lighter fork. It's easy to service. I mean, these are good mid-level, higher-end mid-level, because it is a SID. SIDs are some of their higher-end stuff, but then the SIDs are also in their own models as well, of high quality to like higher mid-level, and this is the higher mid-level. So overall, an extremely nice bike. That's pretty much it. I think I pretty much covered everything, all the goodness and all the cool facts. I like to share the history on a lot of these cool finds, and I think I'm going to actually tear this down soon here this week and polish it up and really try to make it look nice, because this is a little old and worn, but we'll have to try to get it back to its glory days, clean it up real nice and everything. So that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this cool bike. Please do not forget to subscribe, click that button, all that fun stuff, like and all of that. Helps me a lot. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, I do have a Patreon. All of this in the links to the description and all of that. So please check it out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye, guys.